Quiet on set. Picture is up. All right, roll sound.
Rolling.
Roll cameras.
Cams rolling.
And 3, 2.
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to Hank's Think Tank. I got David Mullane on my left today, and he's going to help me out with this podcast, and it's going to be an interesting show. I have John Escoto in today, and he's running for the mayor of Shenandoah. Now, for those of you who don't know, Shenandoah is an adjacent community near the Woodlands, and it's a nice community. He's going to talk a whole lot about it, so you'll be able to learn about it and go over there and go shopping and eat at their nice restaurants. Mr. Escoto is currently a Shenandoah City Councilman. His opponent is Esther Lum, and the incumbent in this race is Rich Wheeler, and he has chosen not to pursue another term because he's already done 3 and done a lot of good stuff for the city of Shenandoah. Welcome, Mr. Escoto. Good to have you aboard. Thanks for driving all the way out here from the wonderful city of Shenandoah and coming to see us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. I guess we can kind of get right into it. David, you wanna lead off with the first question?
Yeah, let's see what we got here.
Cool.
Hi, John. How you doing today, sir?
Doing fine. Yourself?
I see that you're on city council. How long have you been on city council with Shenandoah?
Oh, by the time this election comes about, it'll be a whole year.
Oh, wow.
It'll be right in the middle of my first term.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, tell the voters out here a little bit of the qualifications you have and perhaps any degrees, a little bit about your background.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As far as qualifications, I'm a retired federal agent. In the last 8 years of in my career, in my law enforcement career, I was in executive management. I was in charge of operations, foreign operations in the Office of International Affairs of Homeland Security, and prior to that, U.S. Customs.
That's cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that prepares me. I think. Well, the role of a mayor, I think, is a chief executive of the city.
Right.
I mean, we all know
sure.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So that executive experience that I have with the federal government, I think, is important. I think qualifies me at least one rung of the ladder to be, a chief executive of the city.
So let me ask you a question. After 9/11, did Customs merge with Homeland Security, or did they morph into Homeland Security? How did that work?
Well, after the day, that terrible day in 9/11, the U.S. government, under President Bush, decided that we needed to focus more on terrorism and protect the country from terrorism. As you know, that was something that shocked the whole world.
Yeah.
So they decided that we needed to focus more on identifying terrorism and terrorism financing. Mm-hmm. So it was decided then by Congress to merge all the investigators in U.S. Customs, the special agents who handled all the criminal violations, the criminal investigators, and join them with the immigration special agents, who did pretty much the same thing, but on the immigration side. Okay. And they merged this all together and created the Homeland Security Office of Investigations. Okay. So it was a merging of two agencies.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. And you ended up in that.
Yes.
That's great. And so was your position a managerial type position, or?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
At that time, when that happened, I was in the Office of Internal Affairs up in Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. And my specific job there was to lead groups of special agents in conducting office inspections. Okay. That is, the way offices were being managed, were they abiding by the rules of how to operate an office, their budgets, examine their budgets, their caseloads, how many investigations they had open, the effectiveness of that office in that particular geographic area.
So you oversaw investigators, auditors, pretty much everything.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's cool. Yeah, that would qualify you for a mayoral position easily.
I would think.
You know?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And that followed through pretty much the same, except the degree of supervision grew as I progressed through my career. Once we became Homeland Security, then what we did, we started. I merged into the Office of International Affairs, specifically foreign operations. That's where we handled all those investigative offices that we had based in embassies all over the world.
Cool.
So my task then was to make sure that those offices were being run properly, make sure that they had the needs that were needed, the tools that they needed to conduct
Did you get to
investigations.
travel?
I did.
Wow.
Yes,
So you got to see the world.
I did. I got to travel quite a bit and meet our investigators and host country officials as well, who supported us in those international investigations. Yeah.
Well, after the camera stopped rolling, I want to get your take on Ukraine and Russia, because I bet you've got your own ideas on that one.
Well, I have my own personal opinions, and now
We'll do that.
I've been retired for a while.
We'll do that after the cameras are done. But yeah, that sounds like a fascinating career. So if I did something like that, I would kind of get addicted to it, and I don't think I'd ever really let it go. Do you still kind of keep up with what's going on, and do you still talk to the old guys in the office? And
I do. I have.
I do it.
When I spent my entire adult life in law enforcement,
Right.
So, and when you bond with fellow law enforcement officers, it's a bond for life.
Oh,
It's like
yeah,
being in the
yeah.
military,
yeah, it's a brotherhood.
being a brotherhood.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I still see a lot of my friends. I still travel
That's
to
cool.
meetings and celebrations, and hey, somebody retired. Let's go to his retirement party or her
great.
retirement party. Yeah, so I keep up. Yeah.
I
Cool.
think that makes him a little qualified.
Yeah, I do too. It's awesome.
I think he's got that
It's
down.
awesome.
And to answer the degree, as you said, I have college, and I've also, interestingly enough, in customs, if you got into a managerial position, an executive managerial position, they supplied you with education for that, not necessarily a degree or allowed you to work towards a degree, but they sent you to universities that the government and the university developed courses to help an individual on becoming a better manager.
That's great.
These were
Leadership training. and
leadership
things like that,
training,
yeah.
exactly. I did 6 months over in Columbia University in New York.
Cool.
In executive business management. So
Okay.
so I have that also, that training from Columbia University.
Yeah, and that covers a wide scope.
It
And
does,
so
yeah.
it's not just isolated. So
right.
that's good.
And it's specific to management,
Right.
So, yeah.
Right, but it gives you a much larger horizon than a standard education would. So I think
Yeah,
you, I think
at the
you
very
get-
least, it enhances it. Yeah.
Sounds
yeah.
to me like you've got the advantage, man.
I hope
good.
so.
That's pretty good. So let me ask you this: you get elected. Do you have any first-term accomplishments that you'd really like to see happen? I know you've got some ideas for Shenandoah. So, what would those first-term accomplishments be?
Well, right now we have a few projects that we're working on
Okay.
to improve, our main issue. What I see is our main issue in Shenandoah, and that's mobility.
Okay.
It's traffic flow.
Oh yeah.
As you know, as you described, our city is located right smack in the middle of a fast-growing
Oh yeah.
community. We're between the Woodlands and Conroe. So
That's
that
a
is
good place to be.
Right.
and not
That's
only
it.
that, but our footprint straddles I-45.
Okay.
All right. So not only
Yeah.
do we have a population of a little less than 3,500 residents in Shenandoah, but on any given day, you could double, maybe triple the population of the city. As you have people traveling through, coming to eat, like you mentioned earlier,
Right.
into our restaurants, or coming into our medical facilities, and we have 2 medical corridors and a major
that's right.
and
Yeah.
a major hospital that's located in Shenandoah. So you can imagine the amount of people that we have in a 2.2
Oh yeah.
square mile footprint.
And you've got
Wow.
boatload of people traveling in and out.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
So yeah, I bet you do have mobility issues.
So we do have mobility issues. So to answer your question, yeah, what I'd like to accomplish is to complete that process that like you mentioned, our former our mayor, current mayor, I'm sorry, Rich Wheeler has started, and that is the I don't know if you're familiar with the David Memorial Extension.
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it? Yeah. Well, that's something that I think is not only going to benefit Shenandoah, but it's going to benefit all the surrounding neighborhoods.
Okay.
Because that's going to allow traffic to flow a lot quicker, a lot easier onto from 45 and the feeder road to 242. And it'll alleviate all that congestion to everything east of 45 on 242.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned it that way, because I get asked a lot, because a lot of times we'll host somebody, like we're here in Splendora, and so this is Shenandoah, and they'll say, why are you having somebody else from Shenandoah? And it's because everything that the surrounding communities do affect the other communities.
Absolutely, yes.
And so if something goes on in Roman Forest, it affects Splendora. If something goes on in Splendora, it affects Patton Village. And once these guys can grasp that concept, I think things are going to be a whole lot better.
I think
So
and that's,
if you guys are trying to do something that's a mobility project that'll actually grant relief to the other communities, that's an awesome thing.
and that's why we have the buy-in from the county,
Great.
from all the precincts that are adjacent to us, all those precinct leaders and county leaders, even Conroe, the city of Conroe, is also buying in on this.
Awesome.
And right now we're in the final leg of the planning process. That is the funding aspect of it.
Okay.
We're waiting for all those funds to be inked on paper.
Right.
So we can proceed and get the permits from the Corps of Engineers, because we'll be traversing over, the Carter Slough, which is a protected area that requires permits from the Corps of Engineers. So that's one project that we have gotten started under the present administration that I would like to see through.
Okay.
Another issue of mobility is the intersection of I-45 and Research Forest.
Okay.
That,
I'm familiar with that.
twice a day, that is a nightmare for
just
drivers.
Yeah, you don't want to be around there about 5
A
o'clock.
sea of brake lights.
Exactly. That's and it's increasing as our entire region is growing. Well, more cars and more people are traveling on these roads, and especially it affects not only Shenandoah, because it's right at the corner there of Shenandoah, but everything west of Shenandoah is coming this way. They get on the 45.
Right.
So everybody has buy-in. The Woodlands has buy-in. The Precinct 2 under Charlie Riley, they're affected by it. So we need to get that going. We need to make improvements, lane changes, and allowing for more space for vehicles to maneuver through those intersections.
It brings up a question that I've always had, and I'm going to ask you, and maybe you know, maybe you don't. Do all these city leaders from all these different municipalities and places in Montgomery County get together on an annual basis and just kick around ideas and just say, hey, we're doing this, and this is how we're solving our mobility problems? Maybe that would work here. I mean, is that something that happens?
Yeah, it does. It's specifically to issues like mobility. We each leader has their own mobility studies and mobility plans.
Right. And
within most of our city falls into Precinct 2.
Okay.
At least our residential area. Right. So when the commissioner for Precinct 2 develops a mobility plan, well, they seek our support or our thumbs up, if you will, on what they had planned, and we provide the input as how that plan is going to impact our city. Okay. Our commercial district, our residential district, and all of that.
Right.
So in respect to meeting and sharing ideas about mobility issues, yes, we do have input on how that's going to be handled by the people who are responsible for the funding or for planning, et cetera.
But being that Montgomery County is suffering from such massive growth, I'm just wondering if you find things that work well, like let's say this new project turns out to be just the charm, the one thing that worked great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are these ideas that you would try to take to other areas? Like let's say East Montgomery County or Splendora or somewhere and say, hey, this is how we solved one of our mobility issues, and we see an area that looks the same from a bird's eye view.
Mm-hmm.
maybe y'all could try this.
Absolutely.
I think
that would be
the way
great.
to go. Yeah, because then you got a million smart minds and not just one guy trying to figure it out.
Exactly. And that's an increasing possibility as like you said, as our communities grow.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to affect that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe not now, maybe not in the next 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
but it will have an effect. You know?
But we all have infrastructure problems now.
Absolutely.
If you're in Montgomery County, you're facing it.
I know, and that's what we developed. When I was a member, a commissioner in our planning and zoning,
Mm-hmm.
and board, and we developed. What we did is we updated our comprehensive plan, which it's a 10-year comprehensive plan of where we expect to be in those 10 years.
Looking forward.
And,
that's smart. Yeah.
And that's something that we always maintain. We look back to see, okay, what is it that we planned? Where are we on this plan?
Mm-hmm.
And plan ahead, look forward, and move forward.
There you go.
Towards alleviating those problems.
Great.
Yeah.
You ready? What you got?
Well, I was just going to ask you how the campaign was going.
Well,
obviously we'd like to have you here, but tell the voters a little bit about your campaign.
Well, my wife and I are knocking on doors.
Can't do enough of that.
That's right.
There's a lot of doors out there.
A lot of doors to knock. Yeah,
that's for sure.
And so we're going to have a forum here in April, on the 21st of April, over at our City Hall, where my opponent and I are going to be asked questions by the public.
Kind of like meet the candidates.
You
or,
should meet the
Yeah,
candidates.
that's great.
But apart from that, and that's an official forum, a debate, if you will, kind of a stylized debate.
Okay.
But there's also, some neighbors have invited me to their homes to have meet and greets. These are mostly people who support my ideas and support what I stand for. They're having their neighborhood meet and greets, and which is an opportunity for me to talk with the residents, because I believe in all my heart and talking with talk with people as opposed to talk to people.
Right.
I'm not. I'm better when I'm talking one-on-one with people, because you get to understand their issues, their concerns, and where they want to be. If they elect you or the opponent.
Right.
But so in answer to your question, those are part of the campaign that that we're going through right now. So.
May is usually a tough campaign month because we just come out of an election.
Yes.
And so it doesn't get the attention it should get, and there are lower turnouts at the polls, and so you have to campaign a lot harder. You have to do a lot more door knocking, because people think we just had an election.
I know.
And so,
why'd you wait?
It's like you could have made these together.
Why'd you wait? Why didn't you do it back when everybody else did it?
And not only that, but if you start too early, and you get into towards election day, people may have forgotten about you already.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to keep ringing that bell. Say, hey, listen, this is happening.
And you can't start right after another election because everybody's got voter fatigue.
That's right. That's
so
right.
If you put your signs out, they're going to think, look, this guy forgot to put the sign up.
Yeah, that's
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll throw them away.
Yeah, you really have to work hard at those May elections.
And most people know who they're going to vote for. And and a lot of people know they may support you, but they don't necessarily want a sign on their yard.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And,
right.
And I've heard from former mayors who are friends of mine, who constantly tell me, "Look, signs don't vote."
That's right.
You have to meet the people. You have to go out there and shake hands and tell them who you are and what you stand for and what you're going to do. What are your plans?
Yeah.
Much like what we're doing right now.
And that's
Absolutely.
that's very much time consuming.
It is.
I mean,
it is.
it's,
Yeah.
you take 15, 20 minutes here, and before you know it, the day's shot. You've only visited 12 homes.
That's and I have the benefit of being retired.
Yeah,
so.
that does give you quite
So
a
that
bit
gives
advantage.
me time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, good. I'm glad your campaign's going well.
Well, I think so. That's just from my point of view. Others may think differently. I don't know, but I feel that it's going well.
Well, one time a campaign manager told me, I said, what do you think the odds of us winning are? He said, winning's real easy. He said, campaigning is hard.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that.
So, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, campaigning can be tough.
It's like running. It's like running a marathon.
That's sure. Yeah.
It's the end is probably is the best of it. When you cross that line,
That's right.
you get the rest. You
Right,
get a sip
yeah.
of water.
Only for a while, and then the work begins.
That's right.
Yeah. So, do you have any long-term goals for Shenandoah? Some legacy you would like to leave in your term? Let's say you serve one term and that's it. Is there something that you'd like to get started that would be something that would, set out as a long-term goal?
That's an interesting question.
I come up with the good ones, man.
Right?
I think about them in the middle of the night. I'm like, okay, what am I going to ask this guy?
Long term, I just want to leave the city. If like you say, if I'm only a one-termer, I want to make sure that the city is on the right track,
Okay.
and it's got the ability to handle whatever change comes with progress. Make sure that I leave an infrastructure that is strong and that's not going to be in need of anything.
Great.
That I think that's mostly I want to leave make sure that the city is in the right hands and on the right track.
Okay. Great.
And how long has Shenandoah been incorporated?
It was incorporated in 1974.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So it's been a while. Yeah. We've had some great leaders, and I say that at least in the 11 years that I've been living in Shenandoah. But I also have met a lot of the former leaders, a lot of former
Sure.
mayors and council members, because I made sure that I met them because I want to make sure that I know what it is that I'm getting into.
Oh, sure. You can pick their brains.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good advice from wisdom.
Right.
They have the wisdom of having been there. So it's since '74 we've had a number of really good leaders who have brought us up to where we are now. Have handled the expansion and the especially the commercial and retail aspect of our city, and on top of that the medical
Right.
facilities that we have.
Yeah, you've got some big medical facilities out
We
there.
have
got a lot
clinics.
we got a lot of things cramped in that 2.5 miles,
yeah.
square miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, how much of that space is commercial, do you know? I mean, just in a ballpark?
I would say that commercial retail combined is I would say maybe 2/3.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
and I'm only basing that on when I'm thinking about our revenue, how monetarily how much revenue they generate that commercial retail generates for our city, which is about last year it was like 70% of our revenues.
Wow. Okay.
So I'd say 2/3 in that general area.
And do you have your own police force, Shenandoah?
We do.
Really?
We have an excellent 28 member police department
Okay.
who are, I can't say enough good things about our department. They are
Right.
on top of it.
And see, you're the guy to help oversee all that because you've got experience with it.
I have 32 years of law enforcement experience, so
They ain't gonna put nothing over on him.
Yeah, they can't pass it off and go, he doesn't know.
But I tell you,
he'll
it's,
never
it's,
catch on.
it's been hands off because we have great leaders in that department.
Yeah.
We have
Sounds like
forward-
a big force for 2 miles.
Yes, and a very forward-thinking
Yeah.
leadership there.
Right.
They're handling, the sporadic crime that one gets from being on a major highway,
Right.
like I-45. without without forgetting about the residential area. You know, they're doing their job, handling the bad guys, as well as patrolling the streets to make sure that our residents are safe.
You're selling it to me. You're making me want to move to Shenandoah.
I know, right? It's like the crime
As long as you vote.
That crime rate's got to be low.
Yeah, but our department is really on top of it. Yeah.
That's great. Fantastic. Anything else, Dave?
No, I mean he's summing it up pretty good.
I think so.
Yeah, really doing a good job.
Do you have any additional comments? Anything that you specifically want to state that maybe we missed? Are there any issues you'd like to discuss?
No, not really. I just want to tell your viewers and listeners that I think that I have the tools that are needed to carry on the legacy that our present mayor is leaving us with.
Okay.
I think that it's not I'm not jumping into the cockpit of a plane and without knowing what the dials are for. Okay?
Right.
I mean, I think that I have those tools that will help me lead this city in the right direction. I think at this point in time, I don't think that the mayor position is one to come in and learn how to do things.
All right. Yeah.
You have to have that management. You have to have that rapport with people, the ability to talk with the residents, as well as talking with neighboring community leaders
Right.
as to how we're going to solve these mutual problems that pop up. I think I can do that. I have experience in doing that. I have experience with dealing with leaders, and not only local leaders, domestic here in the U.S., but with foreign leaders.
Right.
Dealing with
complex issues.
Complex issues,
Right.
and I think that with my law enforcement experience, I think, and combined with my Army, I'm also retired from the Army Reserves.
Okay.
As a command sergeant major, so I also have the leadership strengths that come with being a senior non-commissioned officer in the Army.
Okay.
So combined with that, I think that I'm hoping to use all those tools to bring Shenandoah into the future. And that would be that's my pitch. That's what I'm telling our residents.
Well, I sure do like it. And from our conversation, I can tell that you really care, and that's very important. Going in. I mean, if you're running for the thing because you want to make an extra buck or something, you can see that. But I can tell you care about this city.
Well, thank you.
I
I
care
do.
about what's going on. You seem highly qualified to me. And heck, you sold me. I'm ready to buy a house in Shenandoah.
Well, welcome. Well, we have the lowest property rates in the entire area.
You ought to be their salesman, I'm telling you. and you may have an opportunity to do that, too.
Maybe. I hope so.
How can voters learn more about you? You have a website and all that stuff?
I have a website. It's J. Escoto for Shenandoah.
Okay.
4 is F-O-R.
Okay.
And
that's ESCOTO.
That's right. J. Escoto for Shenandoah.com.
Okay.
I also have a Facebook page.
Great.
It's John Escoto for Shenandoah.
Okay. Fantastic.
And if people want to reach out to me, it's J. Escoto for Shenandoah @gmail.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, there you have it. So, John Escoto, he's running for the mayor of Shenandoah, and I think he's going to make it. So, and y'all look for me out there. I'll be hunting for a house pretty soon. And the guy sold me. That's all there is to it. But check him out. Go to his website and go to his Facebook page. Ask him a question. And he's a nice guy. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to answer your questions. He's highly qualified. And I think this is going to be a good race. And you did say there was a forum. When was that forum again?
April the 21st.
April the 21st. And that's going to be at City Hall?
At City Hall in
At
Shenandoah.
City Hall in Shenandoah. So show up. It's open to the public. Correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Show up, yeah. Make your voice heard, and that's the important thing. Be an educated voter. Well, I'm Hank Vatt. For David Mullane, this is Hank's Think Tank, and we're out.